I really hope to diminish some of these stigmas, and I really hope that if there's anyone that you know that might benefit from this information, that you share this video with them, because it's important, especially if you're not talking to someone who has HIV. Now because if you come in contact with somebody who is open about their status, or you might learn that someone in your family is open about their status, now you know a little bit more about the virus and the situation. I remember the first time I ever met somebody who was open about their HIV status. I honestly was so taken back. It was a public speaker who was hired to speak at my high school when I think I was like in 9th grade. And I was one of the few students selected to then go and meet them up close in person. It was a trans woman. And even going to shake her hand, I was just so taken back, and I was honestly afraid. There was so much ignorance connected to my understanding of what HIV was, and I would be lying if I tell you that I didn't judge her. Like, I honestly was afraid. I didn't know enough about the virus in order to understand exactly how it affects people. The reason why I'm making this video is to really just educate people a little bit more and really inspire people to open up and be more kind to everyone, because you don't know what people are dealing with, whether they're open about their HIV status or they're not. I think that you just don't know what people are going through, so it's just, especially if you do know their status, just being more kind, being more open-minded to people, because ignorance and honestly the stigmas that go around can cause people to really treat people who are HIV positive like they're aliens, like they're different, like they are dirty, or like there's something wrong with them, as if just being in the same room with them, you can just contract it by breathing the same air that they're breathing. All of what's going on in quarantine will kind of remind you of how people may or may not think of or treat people who are positive, and I think something needs to be done. So that's my main reason, and also just to inspire people to just open up their hearts and see that there is love. Even if you are positive, there's possibility for love, there's chance for love. My name is Avery 3 Everlasting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are currently subscribed. I really appreciate y'all for all of the likes, all of the comments, and just for tuning back into this video, especially if you're already subscribed. Be sure to check out my topics. I have loads of different lifestyle topics on my channel. If you like what you see, give a love tap to that subscribe button. I would really appreciate for you to just join this club, the hashtag 3 Everlasting journey of my life, and talking about real life. I want to start just going into some of the stigmas and just some of the ways that uneducated people really think about HIV positive people. And honestly, it's really sad. Just knowing as much as I do know as a gay man, it's a lot of people in the community and even heterosexual community, whether or not they're open about their status, who you would just never even know. You would never even know. They're regular people, they're functioning people, and it's just crazy the way that a lot of people tend to pass judgment on them. They think of them bad. There's a stigma of maybe how they contracted it, or there's just an image in their mind, just thinking that they're different, or that they might pass it to someone very easily. And just the way that they react to them, like, even when I was a child, like, I was afraid just from the things that I heard from friends or family members or the people that I had been around when I was younger. And honestly, it's sad that I was even that ignorant, and now that I'm an adult, like, it's just crazy. The more you learn, the more you realize, like, wow, what? I really thought those things. It's outrageous to hear or see some of the things that people say. But then again, America's not the brightest country, right? One thing that I learned as an adult is that becoming undetectable is something that people who are HIV positive strive for. And it's a great way for them to prevent their HIV into turning into AIDS. By the time someone has AIDS, or they can be tested positive for AIDS when they get a blood test, that means that the viral load is so concentrated throughout the blood in their entire body that now they have AIDS. So it basically turns into an even worse virus or disease. To be undetectable, it doesn't mean like, oh, they're walking around mysteriously acting like they don't have HIV. No, it means that they are healthy, basically are minimalizing their viral load. They're frequently taking the medication that they're supposed to be taking on their plan, whatever they're prescribed to take to, make sure that they are healthy and that they cannot pass the virus to anyone, whether it's a blood-related accident that may happen or during sexual activity. And being undetectable is a great thing. That has even led to precautionary medications like PrEP. So people are on PrEP, mostly I want to say people who were born male. What it does is pretty much create a block and barrier, and it is also formulated by some of the medications that people with HIV already take. Scientists and medicine is really trying to work to narrow down, passing on this virus. If you are sexually active, whether you are gay or straight, and you don't always use condoms, sometimes, you just act without it and you just move fast, PrEP is something that you should think about. And it's just to make sure that you're healthy. It's just to make sure that if the person you're with lies to you, you don't know if they're healthy or not, or if they are positive or not. It's just a way, it's an extra barrier and extra protection. And you take that pill once a day and you make sure that you cannot contract the virus, or you have a very, 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 very low chance to contract or pass on the virus. And that goes back to undetectable for people who actually have HIV. So they're still positive, but when they're undetectable, they have a very, 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 very low chance of passing on the virus with whoever they come in contact with, whether it's sexual or, like I said, a blood-related situation. So that is an incredible thing, that has happened, and it just allows people with HIV to feel normal again. Besides the fact that they have to take their medication every single day, no matter how many pills it is, they're normal. People actually joke about this. People make fun of people who have that status, or there's even people who hide their status and they make fun of people who are open about their status. And that's even more sad. It was very important to me to tackle these stigmas and just make more people aware so that you're not as ignorant, and if you are talking to somebody who tells you that they are positive and you're really enjoying their company and you're really enjoying, getting to know them, you might want to give them a chance. Now that you know that there are ways to really keep yourself protected, you always want to make sure that you're protecting yourself in other ways, like condoms, dental dams, or PrEP if that's an option for you. However, it's just really important to know that they're also people. Like, love is possible. I really hope to diminish some of these stigmas, and I really hope that if there's anyone that that might benefit from this information, that you share this video with them, because it's important, especially if you're not talking to someone who has HIV. Now because if you come in contact with somebody who is open about their status, or you might learn that someone in your family is open about their status, now you know a little bit more about the virus and the situation. And it's really sad that oftentimes people feel ashamed, and it's just something that you should understand, to be a little bit even more compassionate with people like this, and even more open-minded with people who are open about their status with you, or they feel comfortable enough to talk to you about it, because they are supporting themselves. So opening up to you means that they also trust you enough to ask for your support in return. The reason why I know so much about HIV and just how it might be dating someone that has HIV is because I did have a partner who is HIV positive. They are undetectable. They do take care of themselves. And I want to continue by saying I will not disclose any names, and I will not say when I was dating this person, because there are many people or many individuals who have followed me on social media. Although me and this partner didn't post as much about our relationship, but I will always protect them, you know. It doesn't matter what happened in our relationship, but I'm only doing this to just inspire people to be more kind to one another and to love one another. And there might be someone who really doesn't understand. So, you know, I hope to inspire you to actually love that person if they do open up to you, whether that's your child, your sibling, your cousin, or even someone that you are looking as a prospective partner, you know? Wait, is it prospective? Getting to my story time, I met this guy and we were talking little by little, and once in a while, you know, we would talk a lot through text message, and we both had our own thing. We were working and stuff. So, you know, we had been talking about hanging out, and eventually we started hanging out. We went on a few dates. I really enjoyed my time with this person, and, you know, he was awesome. Like, we were really feeling each other's vibes. And however, if you know me, like, I have a video on asexuality. I'm demisexual, so I take a little while to get to know people, you know. I'm not immediately like bing bang boom. So we talked for a very long time. We dated for like months before we became even sexual, which actually is just also a good way to protect yourself as well. Get to know the person that you're talking to before you are even sexual. But it just happened to turn out this way because that's just how I am as an individual. However, he was completely understanding of it, like never pressure me, never, you know, push me to do anything that I didn't want to do. Like, of course we would talk about sex, like, come on, like, everybody who's talking to each other is attracted to one another. Like, what could I say? One time after we were dating and seeing each other for like 3-4 months, when I received a text message, I was at work, he was like, oh my God, honestly, I have to talk to you about something, and I'm honestly just afraid of how you're gonna react, and I just want to let you know before we talk about this, like, I really enjoy the time that we spend with one another. Like, this is completely different. Like, I'm really vibing with you on a different level. And by that time, like, we hadn't had sex. We really hadn't done anything like intercourse wise. Back to that day, he sent me a message, and I was just like, where's all of this coming from? Like, honestly, I feel like you're about to tell me that you're talking to somebody else, or you're about to tell me that you were sexual with somebody else. I just started writing him. I'm like, if that's the case, honestly, you could just go about your life and enjoy yourself. Like, we don't have to talk to each other. Like, and then he was like, no, I just want to tell you, but I'm really shy. Like, I don't tell many people about this because, of course, it's something that I have to deal with for the rest of my life. And he came clean and he let me know, like, he's HIV positive. He's undetectable. I'm like, undetectable? Like, what does that mean? Immediately I was relieved because I was like, okay, so he's not talking to nobody else. Like, and wow, like, he told me this before we even got to an exclusive level. Like, I knew we were dating, we were talking to each other, but when you're dating, you really don't know if that person is talking to other people. So he said that he wants to talk to me even more, and if I'm still interested in seeing him and dating him, you know, before we both took our relationship to the next level, he thought it was very important to disclose that information. And I had a lot of respect for him, like, so much more respect, the fact that he handled it like that. Because if I wanted to stop talking to him at that moment, he gave me the opportunity, you know? He wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna entrap you. And I had so many questions, and he was just saying, if we are gonna become exclusive, come and see my doctor one day with me so that you can see that everything is gonna be transparent. I want you to be protected. I want to I'm always gonna take care of myself. I'm always gonna be healthy. This is how I take care of myself. He explained to me a few things, and I just had so many questions. And he was like, "My doctor is gonna answer a lot more of the questions that you had." So from there, we started taking our relationship a lot more serious, and of course, eventually, we ended up being physical. After like another month or so, and the doctor prescribed me on PrEP, and they put me on PrEP medications, so I was completely protected, and I was protecting myself. Every time that we had altercation, we were protected. Every time that we were sexually active, we were protected. Initiating a relationship with someone who is positive, that's something that you always want to put first, is the health of both of you, especially understanding sometimes the person might be having a bad day. Sometimes the person might be going through things that they don't disclose to you, because it is emotionally and mentally traumatic as well, going through an experience like that, because you don't always know how it was contracted or how it was passed. And if you love the person, you wouldn't judge them in those ways, because sometimes accidents happen, or sometimes people lie to people, so you really can't judge people based off of what happened to them in their life. But something that was important to me was to just always, try to turn the day around if I ever saw that he was low or he was sad or something like this, because it should never get to a point that they don't want to take their own medicine. And I was always happy to know that he wasn't like that. He was always very positive about his health, and he was always very proactive and preventative, But if you're dating someone who isn't, that's something that you might want to, take initiative on, just to be that extra support buddy. I think he just wanted to also protect me, and I think that that's amazing. However, even throughout our relationship, he was fearful, and there was often times that I could see that he had some doubts in his mind, or maybe he thought that I wasn't completely happy, or maybe he thought that I would want someone who is HIV negative, and honestly, it does affect the relationship. Mental health is a really important thing, and people face their doubts every single day. However, when someone is HIV positive and they have to deal with this for life, they face a different type of doubts. So just having compassion and being more patient and being more aware of the fact that you don't really know what's going on in their minds or what's going through their minds every single day. Just because they smile doesn't always mean that they're not, withdrawing certain things from your knowledge, and they're not holding certain things back that might be hindering them every single day. That's just something that the both of you are going to have to work on together, and you're going to have to strengthen one another, and just always, touch base on and make sure that both of you guys are good. So on that note, I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched this video this far. If you like this video, please make sure to like this video. Once again, tap that subscribe button. It is your boy Avery 3 Everlasting out of here. Until my next video, y'all, deuces. Of my PrEP, and I always take it at the same hour every single day. That was very different than anything I had ever experienced, and I'm very thankful for the level that medicine have gotten to today, because they're able to make sure that so many people who are positive remain undetectable, and they are making sure that the virus is just being diminished, and it's almost untransmittable, and that's amazing.